Among the celestial host, there existed an angel whose very name resonated with a profound stillness, a being held in awe, even by the mighty archangels Michael and Lucifer. He was not one to engage in heavenly skirmishes or deliver divine pronouncements. Instead, his solemn purpose was to bring narratives to their ultimate close. His arrival was swift, unheralded, and absolute, signifying but one truth, the culmination of all earthly time. To the realms above and below, he was known as Azrael, the angel of death. Some ancient whispers claimed he could separate the soul with a mere breath, while others maintained that the moment he appeared, the soul instinctively recognized its appointed hour. And when he descended, even the most formidable angels yielded their ground. This is Secret Origins, and today we delve into the profound narrative of the most awe-inspiring angel known to existence. Welcome. Long ages passed before the epoch of mankind, and before the measurement of earthly time had begun, the concept of death was unknown. The cosmos was yet incomplete. Life had not truly commenced, and thus its cessation held no place within the fabric of creation. Yet this primordial state was irrevocably altered by a singular act of volition. In the genesis of all things, the first man, Adam, was fashioned and placed within a pristine garden, a sanctuary of unparalleled peace, devoid of suffering, a gift from the Most High. But when Adam and Eve, defying the divine edict, partook of the forbidden fruit, they introduced a new element into the world's sin. And with this transgression came a consequence never before conceived, the inevitability of death. From that pivotal moment, death became an unyielding truth for all humanity. Mortals would no longer abide forever. Instead, they would be born, pass through the stages of life, and eventually yield their spirits. And because death was now woven into the tapestry of existence, a celestial entity was required to oversee this new, solemn aspect of the human journey. Yet not every angel could be entrusted with such a formidable task. Within the vast angelic legions of the heavens, there were mighty warriors like Michael, swift messengers like Gabriel, and countless others, each fulfilling a sacred duty. Each possessed a unique role. But the assignment of bringing forth death, of concluding life, and guiding souls to the world beyond was a charge fundamentally distinct. It demanded an unparalleled blend of courage, absolute obedience, and a singular fortitude, the strength to embrace that which none other desired to undertake. Thus, a divine decree was issued. The Creator commanded his angels to descend to earth and gather the sacred dust from which Adam's form would be molded, the very substance that would comprise the first human vessel for an immortal soul. One by one, the exalted archangels were dispatched to fulfill this mission. Some traditions recount that Michael attempted the task, but the earth itself cried out, imploring him not to disturb its soil. Others attest that Gabriel approached, yet felt such profound compassion for the terrestrial sphere that he left it untouched. Each time the angel returned to the divine throne without the dust, either unable or unwilling to bear it away. Then the Creator sent Azrael. In that epoch, Azrael had not yet assumed the mantle of the angel of death. He was simply one among the multitude of angels marked by his unwavering faithfulness, perfect obedience, and quiet demeanor. But when he was sent, Azrael journeyed to the earth and accomplished what none of the others could. He gathered the dust, even as the earth groaned and pleaded to remain undisturbed. Some narratives suggest that Azrael conversed with the earth, promising the return of its essence in due time. Others maintain he uttered not a single word. What truly mattered was his unwavering completion of the mission, returning the dust to its divine architect. And with that solitary act, the order of things was fundamentally altered. Azrael had demonstrated a quality unmatched by the others. He had proven his capacity to execute the most arduous of tasks without hesitation, without grievance, and without allowing emotion to sway his purpose. Because of this profound demonstration, the Creator bestowed upon him a role unlike any other. Azrael would become the appointed guardian of both beginnings and ends. He would be the one to guide the soul from its moment of creation through its final passage within the mortal form, and then to carry it beyond. From that moment forth, Azrael transcended the designation of a mere angel. He became Malak al-Maut, the angel of death. Azrael's success in collecting the earth's dust was a clear sign that he alone possessed the fortitude to bear the immense burden of death. No other angel had the heart for such a formidable duty, not out of weakness, but because the role was too weighty. And so the name Azrael, meaning help of God in Hebrew, became intrinsically linked with this profound function to assist the soul in its transition from this life to whatever realm awaited it beyond. Indeed, Azrael is revered across Islamic and Jewish traditions as the angel of death. Yet his profound work extends far beyond the mere cessation of life. His primary mandate is to separate the soul from its physical casing at the predestined hour of death. However, this act of severance is but one facet of his encompassing duty. In both sacred scriptures and venerable oral traditions, Azrael is depicted as a psychopomp, a divine being whose sacred office is to guide souls from the material world into the afterlife. He does not merely sever the bond between body and soul. He actively aids in carrying that spirit forward beyond this earthly existence toward its ultimate destiny. That journey might lead to eternal tranquility, divine recompense, or a reckoning, but Azrael's immutable task is to ensure its commencement. He is the one who unveils that final portal. According to various traditions, Azrael bears a divine scroll, or an eternal record sometimes envisioned as a vast book upon which the names of all human beings are inscribed. When a new life enters the world, its name is added to this profound register. When a soul departs, its name is meticulously erased. This scroll symbolizes Azrael's perpetual awareness of every living soul. He does not act on caprice or personal judgment, but rather awaits the precise moment when the sacred scroll reveals that the time has come. This scroll underscores that Azrael's task is profoundly interwoven with destiny itself. He does not materialize at random, nor does he dictate who departs or when. He executes his function only when commanded by the divine will. This intrinsic obedience is a cornerstone of his being. Unlike the defiant angel Lucifer, or even the valiant Michael who leads heavenly hosts on God's behalf, Azrael is utterly subservient to divine command. He operates not on his own initiative, but solely when the Creator's will activates his unique function. And yet, though he acts not independently, Azrael's dominion is unlike that of any other angel in existence. While other celestial beings may offer protection, convey messages, or engage in spiritual conflict within specific locales and temporal bounds, Azrael's solemn task pertains to every single living being on earth. Regardless of where one dwells the tongue they speak, or the tenets they hold dear, every soul ultimately passes into Azrael's care. From the most ancient epochs to the present day, from the loftiest peaks to the deepest urban centers, Azrael's profound responsibility remains ceaseless. This alone distinguishes him from all other angels. Another equally profound aspect of his duty merits contemplation. Azrael does not always manifest in person. Indeed, many traditions teach that he often dispatches lesser angels to perform his work. These assistants, sometimes referred to collectively as the angels of death, operate under his supreme direction and are involved in the gathering of the departed souls. These emissaries may appear with tenderness or with terror, depending on the life a person lived, and the spiritual destiny awaiting them. This complex system reveals a crucial, and while many sentient beings may fear him, others perceive him as an indispensable component of existence. Without Azrael, there could be no conclusion. Without conclusion, no new Genesis could unfold. His task is simply to ensure the perpetuation of the great cosmic cycle precisely as it was divinely ordained. Azrael was entrusted with one of the most paramount responsibilities in all of creation, the guiding of every soul from the living realm to the domain of death. To fulfill such an immense task, he required more than mere obedience. He necessitated a level of power that no other angel possessed. And this is precisely what ancient texts convey. Descriptions of Azrael's true form transcend anything witnessed in typical portrayals of other angels. According to various Islamic sources, Azrael's countenance is so immense, so overwhelmingly vast, that it defies human comparison. He is said to possess 4 faces each, allowing him to survey a different cardinal direction, north, south, east, and west. This detail signifies Azrael's constant vigilance, his perpetual awareness of all occurrences across every corner of the world. But his faces are merely the genesis of his terrifying majesty. Azrael is also described as possessing 4,000 wings. These are not the delicate feathered appendages depicted in ethereal paintings of angels as glowing humanoids. His wings are said to span across realms. Some are wings of grace associated with serenity, divine mercy, and the gentle escort of the righteous. Others are wings of judgment, terrifying in their aspect and function. These wings are said to be wrought of iron rods, sharp hooks, and formidable shears poised to sever and rend. These are reserved for souls weighed down by transgression, reflecting a starkly different aspect of mortality, one that engenders dread rather than solace. And then there is his scale. Some Islamic scholars, such as Ibn Jafar al-Wa'ij and other classical commentators, have described Azrael as possessing 70,000 feet or limbs. Each is said to serve a specific purpose directly linked to his capacity to interact with countless souls simultaneously. These vast numbers are employed to elucidate how a single being can execute his profound task across every nation, every people, every individual. His form surpasses the limits of human comprehension, and it must, for his sacred duty, spans the entirety of earth. Yet perhaps the most profound and chilling detail is this: Azrael's very form is said to be entirely covered with countless eyes and tongues. Each eye and each tongue is intrinsically linked to a living soul on earth. This implies that Azrael's very being is a living tableau of the world's current population at any given moment. His eyes perceive every individual. His tongues represent the voice or presence of each life. And here is where it becomes truly disquieting when a person departs. One of those eyes or tongues vanishes from his form, signifying the cessation of the life it represented. In many traditions, Azrael's appearance is not static. It continually reconfigures itself based on the fluctuating number of living beings on the planet. His very body is synchronized with human existence itself. In some narrations, Azrael wields a flaming whip, a potent symbol of divine power and ultimate authority, utilized to command other spiritual entities and enforce the Creator's will. Another powerful image comes from accounts stating that the entire earth appears to Azrael as diminutive as a bowl held in his hand. Some scholars described it as no larger than a small dish or vessel. This means he can reach any location instantaneously. Distance, earthly boundaries, and the passage of time hold no meaning for him. The underlying concept is crystal clear: Azrael does not journey. He does not search. He already knows the precise whereabouts of every soul, and he can reach them effortlessly. And if that is insufficient to grasp the magnitude of his power, Some accounts venture even further. In Islamic theology, there exists a sublime order of angels known as the bearers of the throne. These are widely regarded as the largest and most potent angels in all creation, their sole function being to uphold the divine throne, their immensity described in nearly cosmic terms. Yet according to certain scholars, even these colossal angels are dwarfed by Azrael. This detail provides a crucial insight. Azrael is not terrifying because he is malicious. He is terrifying because of the fundamental nature of what he embodies. This is the point where we begin to comprehend why even beings as mighty as Michael and Lucifer would hold him in such profound reverence. Not because Azrael stood in opposition to them, but because his very essence and function existed beyond their own. Unlike other angels, Azrael's manifestation is not uniform. His form adapts based on the life a person has lived and the spiritual state of their soul in its final moments. This further distinguishes him from angels who fulfill fixed tasks in unchanging ways. Azrael's role is intrinsically connected to the soul itself, its purity, its regrets, its readiness for transition. How he appears depends entirely on the one beholding him. Those who lived lives of righteousness, the saints, the prophets, and those deeply devoted to the divine perceive Azrael as a figure of profound peace. To them, he does not appear as a dark or frightening entity. Instead, he arrives in a gentle form often described as exquisitely beautiful, serene, or even radiating an inner light. In these sacred moments, Azrael's presence brings solace. He grants the departing soul time to grasp the transition and escorts it with utmost care. Some traditions describe this encounter as suffused with brilliance and warmth, as though the soul is being welcomed by a trusted and familiar guardian. Stories passed down through generations recount that the Prophet Muhammad and Moses were approached by Azrael himself, not by one of his assisting angels. In both instances, he extended a respectful invitation to depart the earthly realm. Yet not every soul is met in such a manner. For those who lived lives defined by cruelty, deceit, or spiritual defiance, Azrael manifests in a drastically different form. In these cases, he arrives not with peace, but with overwhelming, unyielding force. His appearance becomes a chilling reflection of what the soul fears most. His presence is described as oppressive, frigid, and terrifying. Some traditions state that unrepentant souls feel their very essence being violently torn away rather than gently lifted. There is no comfort in these final moments, only fear, profound regret, and agonizing pain. This dualistic nature of Azrael is an integral part of his divine design. He mirrors the profound truth of a person's life back to them. What the soul imparted to the world is precisely what the soul receives in return. This profound concept is most vividly articulated within Sufi belief, a mystical branch of Islamic thought that centers on the individual soul's spiritual journey. Sufi teachers expound that Azrael reveals himself in a form that precisely corresponds to the deepest spiritual state of the soul at the moment of its departure. If the soul is imbued with peace, Azrael manifests as peace. If the soul is consumed by fear or resistance, he appears in a form that vividly mirrors that inner struggle. However, these divine manifestations are not always confined to the moment of final departure. There exist ancient accounts of Azrael appearing to individuals in dreams or visions, particularly when their appointed time draws near. These profound dreams often convey warnings, solemn reminders, or divine messages intended to prepare the soul for its transition. In some instances, the vision is serene. In others, it serves as an urgent spiritual awakening. One renowned example comes from Rumi, the celebrated Sufi poet and spiritual master. According to tradition, as Rumi neared his earthly end, he encountered Azrael in a human guise. This meeting was not fraught with fear. It was deeply peaceful. Rumi accepted his fate with calm serenity, knowing that his hour had arrived. Another powerful instance is found in the writings of Nasir Khusro, a Persian poet and philosopher. He chronicled a dream in which he beheld Azrael, who informed him that his time was imminent. This vision granted him precious moments to reflect, pray, and prepare himself. In these narratives, Azrael emerges as a profound messenger of transition, a guide who aids the soul in its passage into the next stage of its eternal journey. If the question of why Azrael inspired such profound fear, even among the most exalted angels, still lingers, the answer becomes clearer when one truly comprehends the immutable meaning of his presence. Each time he manifested, something ceased to be. This truth did not apply solely to the ephemeral lives of humans. It extended even to the immortal existence of angels. Ancient legends describe a deep, instinctive stillness that pervaded the heavens whenever Azrael drew near. Angels who perpetually sang fiercely, contended, or diligently served in celestial harmony would fall silent as he passed. Gabriel bore divine messages. Michael led celestial armies. Israfil stood poised to sound the final trumpet. But Azrael's mission was fundamentally different. He arrived not with cautions, but with absolute certainty. When he moved, even the most powerful beings yielded their path. Some traditions assert that Azrael possessed the authority, if divinely commanded, to take the soul of any being, even one of the angels themselves. Thus, he operated beyond the confines of time, the din of conflict, or the light of revelation. He belonged not to the chronicles of war or prophecy. He belonged to the ultimate chapter. In one sacred narration, the bearers of God's throne angels, revered for their immense stature and authority, would lower their gaze when Azrael appeared within the divine realm. His authority stemmed not from hierarchical rank, but from the very finality of his function. He represented the ultimate conclusion of every command, every mission, and every life. Azrael worked in solitary majesty. His path did not intersect with that of warriors or messengers. He was the final destination on the divine road. And once he arrived, no voice, no strength, and no supplication could alter what was to unfold next. This is why even the archangels, mighty, radiant, and divinely chosen, held his silence in such profound reverence. For his silence signified that the story was indeed over. But are Azrael and death one and the same, or do they exist as distinct entities? In many venerable traditions, death is not merely an event. It is presented as a being created by God, just as the angels were. According to some ancient Islamic narrations, death was fashioned as a separate, distinct creation, separate from Azrael himself. It was not merely a process. It possessed form, substance, and a tangible presence. When the Creator brought death into existence, he presented it before the assembled angels. But the mere sight of it overwhelmed them. Every angel who beheld death fell into a swoon that lasted for 1,000 years. The experience was simply too profound, even for the most formidable celestial beings. That alone offers a crucial clue. If even the angels collapsed before the presence of death, what manner of being could possibly command it? The pivotal moment when God bestowed upon Azrael dominion over death itself is key. It demonstrates that Azrael was not begotten by death. He was placed above it. While other angels worked with light, sound, and fire, Azrael bore something far more absolute, the very boundary between existence and what lies beyond. In certain traditions, scholars and mystics elucidate this by asserting that Azrael did not merely deliver death, he became its very manifestation. He did not follow death. Instead, death followed him. This profound idea becomes even more potent in the narratives concerning the end of days. After the day of judgment, when every soul has been weighed and paradise and hell are irrevocably separated, one final task remains. According to sacred Hadith traditions, God will take death itself now in the form of a ram and place it between the gates of heaven and hell. Then, before all of creation, God will slay the ram. In that ultimate moment, death itself will cease to exist. And with its demise, Azrael's profound role will reach its culmination. This signifies the final transformation. Azrael, who once stood at the precipice of every life, will have completed the full circle of his divine work. His cosmic task will be finished, and true eternity will begin. Perhaps then, Azrael was not merely a servant of death, but rather he was death itself, shaped and empowered by divine command. And given all that has been revealed thus far, it is unsurprising that today many people associate Azrael with the popular image of the Grim Reaper. Yet unlike the Grim Reaper, who is often portrayed as cold or malevolent, Azrael's ancient origins reveal him as both a figure of awe and profound respect. He executes the Creator's divine will, never his own personal judgment. Azrael's venerable name also resonates within poems, literary works, and even modern entertainment. Over the centuries, his compelling role as the angel of death has inspired writers, thinkers, and artists across the globe, particularly in the Western world. In the 19th century, the American poet Henry Wadsworth Longfellow referenced Azrael as an angel who gently gathers souls, imbuing his presence with a solemn yet peaceful aura. Around the same period, Leigh Hunt penned The Reaper and the Flowers, where Azrael appears as a quiet figure cloaked in black, arriving not to inflict harm, but to guide. The British writer G.K. Chesterton also alluded to Azrael in his poetry. In his works, Azrael is described as a powerful force invoked during moments of great spiritual conflict, underscoring the angel's enduring significance even outside his original religious context. Through the years, the name Azrael gained broader recognition among the general populace. In the 1980s animated series The Smurfs, the antagonist Gargamel named his feline companion Azrael, a seemingly small detail that subtly hints at the angel's deeper imprint on cultural memory. Even within a light-hearted setting, the name still carried an unspoken link to the mysterious, the somber, and the inevitable.